latest edition of
Da, da,
Pictures.
da, 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 da.
Where we're
Da, 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 da.
Okay.
Da, 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 da.
Where we're talking about the A-Team 21st century
Oh,
reboot
yeah.
of the classic 80s show. And joining me and Lance is Richard Sandling.
Hello.
Yay.
So, the A-Team. First of all, Richard, what do you think?
I really liked it. Surprised by how much I liked it, because I wanted to like it, but I didn't. From watching the trailer, I didn't think it was going to be very good, because it seemed a very serious trailer for what is essentially a fun movie. But
Yeah.
it was brilliant. It was just really good fun from start to finish. Really enjoyable.
So is that what surprised you most about it? That it's
Yeah.
pretty much fun from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that's what they would do, but you couldn't tell if it would just be silly, you know, because there is quite a lot of nonsense in it. But
Yeah.
it's not ridiculous. You don't go, oh, wow, this is just stupid, you know.
Well, it
it's-
is quite ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
that's what's, you know, I think Jessica Biel actually has a line in it, you know, that they're great at the ridiculous or something.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
specialise in the ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I had a little thing this morning. My girlfriend said to me, so was it silly? And the first thing I think, comparing it to the TV series, was it silly? I said, no, not really. And I went, hold on a minute. They fly a tank.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
it's
what are
silly.
they trying to do?
Yeah.
I think he's trying to
It's-
fly it.
Yeah.
But in terms of
Yeah.
the
That's
internal
amazing.
logic, like
Yeah.
you don't go, oh man, this is just too much.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not like Face Off, for example, where they have to like invent a secret military installation just so they can get him out the way for plot points. You know what I mean?
Right,
it all sort
right.
of
It
ticks
doesn't
along.
quite go into Face Off or Con Air, and it doesn't take itself as seriously as, say, a Mission Impossible film
No.
does. It's somewhere in between. It's in a glorious space that it occupies.
Yeah,
in
it
between.
really does. Well, Richard and I saw it together, and from the moment it started, we were giggling like idiots.
Yeah.
We were just enjoying the whole ride from beginning to end, there was a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs, a lot of backslapping. Come the middle, when the reveal happens, and you know things take a darker turn, you're with them. You bought into it, and
Yeah.
it really, really works on that level as well. I think it really works as a fun action movie. Terrific, but it's got this involvement factor as well, which works.
No, I don't know about you guys, but I was quite a fan of the original
Yeah,
TV show. I
absolutely.
mean, not like, you know, completely hardcore. But so I think that's great that if the three of us were all fans and we really like the reboot, that's a really good sign. But then again, nothing in it really relies upon the fact that you pre-awareness of the show. One of the great surprises to me was that it wasn't just, I thought, the best possible version of an A-Team movie that you could make in this century. I also thought it was just a cracking action movie, one of the best action movies I've seen for a long, long time. You know, partly because it has that faint sense of the ridiculous, but you're completely on board
Yeah,
for it.
that's
With
it.
these guys, the ridiculous is plausible and, you know,
Yeah.
highly enjoyable.
Joe Carnahan, who directed the picture, could be accused of being slightly heavy-handed, but there's something that he does, and because he had a hand in writing the screenplay as well. And I was talking to Richard about this as well last night. That there's no overt cloyness or we love each other amongst the group. You believe the fact that these guys will do anything for each other.
Yeah.
How are we made to believe that? I don't know, but
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
I can't put my
Because
finger
they
on it.
meet in the movie.
That's
I mean,
right.
at the very beginning, you know, it's quite surprising that
Yeah.
one of the first scenes there is when they kind of compare range, and that gives them a little bond.
Yeah.
But by the time, and we know this happens because we've seen it in the trailer, they're busted out of a maximum security,
Yeah.
or we see the opening credits of the TV
Yeah.
show. By the time they're busted out of the, you know, of jail, and sort of gone rogue, you absolutely believe that they are together as a unit, that they, you know, die
Yeah.
for each other, and it's great. And
Yeah.
yet it's earned in a very subtle way,
Yes.
isn't it? Rather
That's
than
it.
in a
It was one of the
a
things that
shabbier
surprised me.
screenplay would kind of make very easy points about why those why those things should be.
Yeah.
But the relationships are kind of organically created over the course of the running time, so that you completely go with it.
That's it.
It's also the same way they make BA scared of flying. He's
Yeah.
actually quite good, because that's
Yeah.
one thing, BA's got to be
Absolutely.
scared of flying, so he's like an airborne soldier, ranger, and then one like dangerous flight with Murdoch, and he's scared of flying. So
Right.
you see him lose his fear of...
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing. You always think, how would he ever be in the army if he was scared of flying? Because he wouldn't be able to like go on missions, or you know,
Right.
he'd have to be obviously one of those things you just ignore. You know,
Yeah.
the fact that you know.
But you see, in a
But it's
lesser
fine, yeah.
in a lesser movie, one where the people behind the movie, and I believe that Joe Carnahan and everybody else concerned with this movie cared very deeply for how this movie turned out, which is great. You can see it in every foot of film. But in a lesser film, they would just say, well, we don't really know it, that doesn't make any sense, so let's just leave it out. You know, if
Yeah.
one of the reasons why some people, I've heard some people complaining that, but the van isn't in it or whatever. Well, sorry, this is the 21st century. It's a globe-trotting movie.
Yeah.
That van isn't going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
So, it's in a couple of key scenes, and then you kind of dispatch it. And that's okay, because then they're going off to Guatemala or, wherever they...
Germany they were in.
Yeah,
Well, I think this
wherever
is
they
the
end
thing,
up,
because I was saying about like the worry about something like this where you're making an A-team movie, is that as a fan, 'cause I love comic books, so I have it props more with comic books than I do with like TV shows or remakes. If you are going to change it, that's fine. Just do it well. We don't mind it being different if it's good. If it's rubbish, if this was a bad film and a bad because most times most films are bad films and a bad adaptation.
Right,
But
like
this
Dukes of
is-
Hazzard, let's say.
Yeah, like Dukes of Hazzard, or like the
Starsky and Hutch.
classic example is like the film like Constantine, which not only is a terrible movie,
Right,
it's also a terrible Hellblazer adaptation.
Yeah.
So it falls down on both levels.
Yeah.
Like, whereas this is great, and if you like the A-Team, you sort of are not going to care. It's like it's like the Star Trek J.J. Abrams Star Trek
Absolutely.
movie where you just go, look. Yeah, of course it's in another alternate universe, and theoretically speaking, they never boldly go anywhere, so
Right.
it's technically not a Star Trek movie, but it's great. Like, if it wasn't great, all those points would have mattered.
Yeah.
But this is like with the A-Team movie, all the things that should perhaps niggle with you, or it doesn't matter because it's great.
Yeah.
If it was rubbish, then you'd be more worried the van, because
Yeah,
you'd be
you'd
like,
be
and the
chal-
van's not in it.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
Yeah, I didn't miss the
Challenging it.
van.
I didn't care about the
miss
van,
the
no.
van.
No.
It was there at the beginning, and you tip the hat to the van. The
Yeah,
van
and they
gets-
worship. I mean, Rampage Jackson as BA,
Yeah.
who now appears to be called Badass instead, Badass instead of bad,
Yeah.
bad attitude. But BA, and I thought he was great as well, because I must admit, when the casting came out, I thought, Liam Neeson will be great, especially if he dyes his hair grey, which
Yeah,
he did.
yeah.
And Bradley Cooper as Face.
Yeah.
I can't
Who
actually
was
think of a
very
better.
funny.
Very,
he's
very,
very
good.
funny.
First time
Yeah.
you see him just laughing, hello,
Yeah.
good morning,
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
slapped in
good
the face.
morning.
It's
And again,
really funny.
over the years, all of the different casting suggestions that have been put together. I mean, George Clooney, I think, was
Yeah,
on the sort of
yeah.
wish list. I think the fan
Yeah.
wish list for if they must make an A-team movie,
Yeah,
that,
it's-
which tends to be the attitude. Now I've got post Star Trek, post J.J. Abrams Star Trek. I've got a much different attitude towards these kind of reboots and not remakes, but like
Yeah.
big screen adaptations of old beloved TV shows. And Richard, there was another TV show adaptation that you were kind of comparing this to.
Well, I was going to say, it's not so much like an adaptation, it's more like the TV show is... have you seen the TV show Burn Notice?
Yeah.
No.
Which has got like Bruce Campbell in it, and it's like a really good... It's basically about a spy who gets burned and then ends up using his skills to help people with his team in Miami.
Oh, right.
So, although that's not the A-Team, that's kind of like the A-Team as a TV series has been superseded on TV. So if you just did an A-Team movie,
Yeah.
it would seem really dated. So you
Yeah,
have to
right.
you can't do
Yeah.
that. But what's good about this is they've sort of gone, well, everyone really likes, I love what they've done with the Bourne films. I love what they've done with like the new, the new James Bonds, and they made them all really. But you know what it lacked? It lacked a sort of Italian Job style caper.
Right.
So let's just
Yeah.
let's sort of have that. They clear their name by doing a preposterous
That's what.
mission.
Yeah.
It was just
You said
like,
if the Bourne Ultimatum was made as the Italian Job, that's the
basically,
80s.
yeah,
Because
great.
the end payoff in the climax of the movie was so smart and so fun. It was just a joy to behold.
But it wasn't just one caper.
No.
Either, was it? That was the great
No,
thing.
yeah.
You absolutely got to have your cake and eat it, and then order,
And a
thirds.
second slice.
But basically, because the whole thing about they were accused of a crime they didn't commit. Well, of course, you get all of the crime that they supposedly committed.
Yeah.
That's the opening big, set piece action sequence.
Because this was the worry, I think, because the point about the A-Team is that it's about them in the Los Angeles underground. Who
Right.
they've, because the idea, I know in the A-Team they sort of deal with it, but the idea of the A-Team is they've, like,
All of that's
that
happened.
happens.
Yeah.
We start now, they're there.
Yeah.
So that's what was quite good about it. It's kind of like...
The origin story.
It's just a great Genesis
was,
movie.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what, so you're just really
absolutely.
hoping that they'll do like a, because X-Men, for example, was a great
Yeah.
Genesis
Yeah.
movie.
But
and
this
movie,
wasn't
then-
just a great Genesis movie. You also got the kind of movie
Yeah.
after that as well.
Yeah.
Because,
Exactly.
it's got
Yeah, that's right.
almost
You did,
2
yeah.
hours long. It felt like every dollar they
Yeah.
spent on
Yeah.
it was on the screen. You
Yeah.
couldn't say
a lot
they
of
scrimped on the
stunts
action.
and set pieces done for real.
Yeah.
When the CGI did kick in, it kind of jarred me, but it's because the real life stuff really is terrific.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
Really
it was
is
car
terrific.
stunts, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
that's quite easy. Well, not easy, but it's easy to do realistic